Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Razmavsar TV. One of my fans asked me to do a video on Persian maces, English version, because I, as you know, already did this one in Persian language. So I was asked to do it in also in English. So I'm doing this in English. Mace is a very powerful weapon, was a very powerful weapon, specifically used when people were in armor. So imagine someone is in heavy armor or medium armor. You can still inflict lots of damage with a mace. But I need to say, in contrast to what many people think, because we do not fight with sharp and edged weapons. And in a real fight, as we know it, for example, in full contact, determination and fight, if you don't do game of tags, you know that in a full contact fight, it's a different story. You only understand full contact if you do a full contact fight. So, once we fight, as I mentioned it a couple of times before, when you fight, you have two, with weapons, you have two possibilities. Either you do a fighting like in Battle of Nations or armored fighting, where mostly every weapon you have becomes like a club, and then you start hammering. You learn somehow contact from this to some extent, but because you're protected, you do not fear that much or as much as you fear when you are in MMA or you are in a Kyokushin or a kickboxing match. But still, it teaches you to handle strikes, and sometimes, even if you are armored, they could be hard. But because every weapon which is not, all weapons that are not edged, it can teach you something wrong. That you might come and think edges do not play a role in an armored combat. Or you do as many practitioners of HEMA do, you can go and the first hit counts and do a game of tag. Maybe a combination of both will be okay, but whatever we do not appreciate what an edged weapon is. The reason I'm saying this, even if you're in armor and you face someone with a sharp weapon, that's still dangerous if he goes for opening and gaps in your armor, or if he goes and keeps striking at you and trying to cut in the weaker areas of your armor. But mace was specifically developed not to take care of that, because a heavy strike with the mace, even if you wear a heavy armor against a helmet, would be as if you had an accident, like a car accident, if the delivery of the strike is hard enough. At least it will stun you, and once you're stunned, you can be taken to the ground, and then they can finish you back then, with the Qajar, with the dagger, and so on. So maces are quite effective. As you will see here, maces, they have a long history in Iran. Next to the functionality of a mace, maces also served as symbolic weapons in the history of Iran, Persia. I'm going to show you uh, mace heads made of stone, and this one is from Luristan, hematite, 1000 BC. Mostly, there are different shapes of maces or mace heads in Iran, but mostly they can be classified in three major categories. One is rounded mace heads, roundish mace heads, and one are flanged mace heads, and the other will be animal head mace heads. And this is this roundish one. You see, this is the round mace head made of hematite, and this one is made of copper alloy, 3000 to 2000 BC. So as you can see, it is a very effective weapon here. And the shaft goes here, and these parts, these studs, keep the shaft in place. From Marlik, what Dr. Ezzat Negahban excavated, we have also maceheads made of limestone, 1, 2, 3, and one from hematite, 1400 to 1000 BC. As you can see, they have also holes, so the shaft goes through them. You see that they all belong to the category of roundish or rounded-headed maces, as you can see here. I was really honored to have them in my hands. You cannot imagine what it means when you go and work for museums. Few people have this privilege to have these really excavated items and museum pieces in their hands. I would like to thank my colleagues in Iran for providing me with this opportunity. This is another macehead belonging to the category of round-headed maces. As you can see, the macehead is really round, with some very, let's say, we have here, let's say, very shallow fullers, so we do not really count them as flanks here, or flanks. So you can see that here, but then we have a tree, here, animal heads here, so, and then the shaft goes here. This one is 11.7 centimeters. Another one excavated from Marlik is this macehead, again 1400 to 1000 BC, 18.5. This macehead looks like a baton, is 22 centimeters, 1400 to 1000 BC, also from Marlik, but then the shaft goes here. It looks like a baton, but we still, because there are no studs on it, there are no flanks on it, we consider it as a round-headed mace. Now, talking about round-headed maces, let us just go to the Zand period in Iran, the Islamic period of Iran. This is a two-handed mace, 101 centimeter long, total length. Now hold on and listen, 2,910 grams. And it's made of wood, it's a wooden mace, but with plates of iron here. And these are, you see that they're also nailed here. This is a magnificent piece. And here is also an iron plate for strengthening it. Very heavy mace can deliver devastating blows. It is in my book, Arms and Armor from Iran. Another one, which is, is also belongs to this category of round-headed maces. And as you can see, it's here. This is made of steel, oval-shaped, from the Zand period, 75 centimeters, 1,220 grams. The surface of it, as you can see, is silver overlaid in geometric designs. Now let me move on to the second category of maceheads and maces. These are flanged maceheads, and as you can see here, they're not real flanged, but then you can see that they are really pronounced, so they can deliver more devastating strikes. And you have their goats and these goats, as you can see it here, you see these are again from Marlik, 17 centimeters, 1,400 to 1000 BC. Look at the horns, look at the eyes, look at the mouth. It's unbelievable. Intricate design. I know the studded macehead, right? It's not real flange, but studded, and this is made of bronze, cast in a mold. All of them as these copper alloy maceheads are. 800 to 650 BC from the National Museum of Iran, 12.6. This is from Cultural Institute of Bunyad, in another book of mine, and it's also then you see studs here, delivering strikes. Here we go to the Luristan again, made of hematite, 6.9 centimeters, and then these are studs on it, which are roundish again. We go back to Marlik from north of Iran, 7.5 centimeters, 1,400, 1000 BC, also excavated by Dr. Ezzat Negahban. This one is real different studs of it. Also excavated in Marlik by Dr. Negahban, 18 centimeters, 1,400 to 1000 BC. Also in my book, Arms and Armor from Iran. Look at all these things which are like nails, like studs, can deliver devastating blows. And this is a magnificent piece from 1400 to 1000. I repeat, excavated. I'm going to make an extra video on that. More information in my book. They're human heads, and this is cast in a mold using a lost wax method. Look at the eyes, 14.3 centimeters, and you can see ears, nose, mouth, chin. I will talk about it in more detail. This is a magnificent piece. If you go to Safavid period, lots of flanged maces were used. There were two categories. Shish par means shish means six, par means flange. Par means feather, but here means flange. Shish par, six flanged, or hashed par, eight flanged. This is a shish par, which is 63.5, made of patterned crucible steel, 1,150 grams. This one is hashed par, 1,230 grams, 64.5. Okay, excuse me, this shish par should be hashed par. It has 8 flanks, also made of crucible steel. Look at, these are not as thick, the flanks here are thicker, so this also makes a difference what you want to hit and what is the purpose of hitting and striking. Look at the weights of them, unbelievable, really quite heavy. So you can see the pictures of them again here. They're pieces of art. And now the third category, this is a bull-headed mace. You can see that in Persian mythology we have it that Feridun kills the hawk with a bull-headed mace. Bull has a big symbol, serves as a book symbol in ancient Iran. I will talk about this symbolism more in detail later, but this is a bull-headed mace. Many of them from later period are hollow inside, but still they can deliver strong, heavy strikes, but some of them are not hollow. This is a double-headed mace in my lexicon of arms armor from Iran. Bull-headed mace, double-headed mace. And you can see that here flanged, fighting in a miniature, flanged mace. Round-headed mace. In a bull-headed mace, you see that. Flanged mace. More information on maces you can find in my book, Arms and Armor from Iran. Also from Lexicon of Arms and Armor from Iran. Also you can find in Heirloom of Steel how to use it in Persian archery and swordsmanship about these weapons. Please subscribe to my channel. If you want to support my work, please buy my books, that's the best. If you don't wish, you can support my research on Patreon. Please like and make comments, and thank you very much.